Every success story we see starts at the end. We see the billion-dollar companies, the awards, the magazine covers. We see the highlight reel, the final victory. But that framing, that whole story, is a lie. It's a convenient, inspirational lie that makes us feel like failures when our own beginnings are messy, frustrating, and broke. We're led to believe that titans like Jeff Bezos or Oprah Winfrey somehow launched with a perfect, elegant plan from day one. Well, today, we're stripping away all that glamour. We've tracked down the historical records, the archives, and the brutal, often embarrassing truths about the very first 365 days of business for 5 ultra-successful people. What did they actually do? Where did they work? How much money did they lose? The answer is startlingly uniform. It was a chaotic, often embarrassing struggle just to survive. Their first year looked exactly like yours might right now. This is the brutal truth they don't put on the Wikipedia page, and it is the only truth you need to hear to fuel your own rise. Let's start with case study number 1, Amazon. In 1994, Jeff Bezos wasn't dreaming about drone delivery or streaming movies. He was mostly worried about not burning down his rented house. He started Amazon out of his garage in Bellevue, Washington, and his first desks. They weren't fancy mahogany. They were literally doors bought from a local hardware store, resting on 2x4s. His first major tech investment wasn't in some sophisticated algorithm. It was in a physical bell that would ring every time an order came in, just because they wanted that tiny psychological win of hearing a sale. For the first year, they sold books. That's it. Bezos wasn't some grand visionary back then. He was an overworked guy shipping books, often getting on his hands and knees to manually shrink-wrap them himself. His first few months were spent perfecting one tiny basic process, not building a global empire. Now let's look at case study number 2, Sara Blakely and Spanx. We see a billion-dollar brand today, a household name. But her first year, back in 1998, was spent literally sitting on her own invention, waiting for feedback. She spent a year and a half just researching patents, writing her own patent application, because she couldn't afford a lawyer, and cold-calling textile mills that consistently hung up on her. She had to personally stand in department stores, demonstrating the product to complete strangers, hoping just one person would buy her strange, footless pantyhose. Her big breakthrough moment, it came from a single cold call to a Neiman Marcus buyer, a call that took months to even secure. Her first year was defined by tireless, lonely, unglamorous groundwork. Next up, case study number 3, Starbucks. When the now famous CEO Howard Schultz joined the company in 1982, it was a tiny bean-selling operation with just 4 small stores in Seattle. Schultz had this grand vision to turn it into an Italian-style coffeehouse experience, the Starbucks we know today. But his idea was completely rejected by the original founders. They told him if he felt so strongly about it, he should go start his own company. So he did. He created a competitor called Il Giornale. His first year was spent scrambling to find investors who believed in his third place concept, a place between home and work. He didn't just walk into $1 billion, he faced internal resistance, launched a competing brand from scratch, and had to practically beg for seed money. That first location was a chaotic mess, designed on the fly, with absolutely no guarantee it would succeed. And finally, our 4th case study, Arianna Huffington. Before the Huffington Post became a global media powerhouse, her rise was marked by relentless, grinding rejection. She wrote a book that was rejected by 37 different publishers. 37. Her eventual media empire was built on the back of an overwhelming number of no's. Her first year of trying to make a name for herself was characterized by trying and failing to convince people that her voice and her content were valuable. Her real success only started when she stopped seeking outside validation and decided to publish her own work, relentless in the face of near-universal doubt. So, what does the first year of these titans have in common? It's not genius, it's not perfect timing, and it's definitely not a huge pile of seed money. It's 4 brutal but beautiful truths. First, the start is always unscalable. Jeff Bezos was physically packing and shipping books himself. Sara Blakely was selling pantyhose to individual strangers in a store. They didn't start with a big marketing plan or a scalable system. They started with a direct one-on-one transaction. Their initial work was messy, inefficient, and entirely manual. They did things that simply don't scale. Second, they mastered one single thing. Amazon started with just books. Starbucks started as just 4 stores selling beans. They achieved mastery in one tiny, hyper-focused area before they ever even thought about expanding or diversifying. They didn't try to be everything to everyone. They tried to be the absolute best at one thing. Third, the capital is personal. The resources they used weren't from massive venture capital rounds. It was personal savings, money borrowed from family, or just the sheer willpower to sit down and write your own patent because you can't afford a lawyer. The commitment came from having their own financial skin in the game, not from a limitless bank account. And fourth, rejection is currency. Every single one of these stories is paved with rejection, resistance, and constant doubt. The ability to keep showing up after the 10th, the 20th, or the 37th no is the single most defining characteristic of their first year. They treated rejection not as a stop sign, but as a toll booth on the road to success. So if you are in your first year of a new side hustle, a new business, or a career change, and it feels chaotic, unglamorous, and full of rejection, congratulations. You are doing it right. You are following the exact same path as the most successful people in modern history. Your own rise story doesn't begin with a celebration or a viral launch video. It begins with the ugly, messy, hard work that no one ever wants to talk about. Stop comparing your messy start to someone else's polished highlight reel. Embrace the grind, master your one thing, and accept that every single no you hear is just a step closer to that inevitable, well-earned yes. If hearing this truth today inspires you to keep pushing through your own messy beginning, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the real climb to the top.